I've just been to see Smile 2, and it's the long-awaited sequel to, you guessed it, Smile. Written and directed by Parker Finn, and starring Naomi Scott as pop star Sky Riley. Can this sequel live up to the greatness of the first one? Let's go through it and find out together. As spoiler-free as possible, what did I think?
I need you to listen to me.
Something really bad happened.
You remember Louis Fergoli from high school?
I went to his apartment. But when I showed up,
Louis?
No! Get away from me! What?
he was smiling at me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sky Riley. You are in the middle of a big world tour. You okay?
I keep seeing this face everywhere.
This thing is a parasite. You witnessed a death. Now it's latched onto you.
911, what's your emergency?
I've traced a string of deaths to you. Nobody has survived longer than a week.
Sky, pull it together and get back out there.
No, I will not let this thing use me.
How do we stop it?
We need to kill you first.
What? We have to end it. No matter what. You're not in control. I am.
I need to stop it, but I don't know how.
So I've just been to see Smile 2. So where are we going to start this one from? Do you need to see Smile 1 to go and see Smile 2? Absolutely no need whatsoever. Although Smile 1 is the start of it all, you don't need to see Smile 1 to enjoy Smile 2. So that's that bit out the way. This is my initial reaction from having just exited the cinema. This has got exactly what you want in a horror film. But as well as that, it's also got a little bit of something extra. Because it spends a lot of time with our main character. You're not going to get any spoilers from me. I ain't giving you any spoilers. I don't think it's fair, because something like this is... it should not be spoiled. I think the trailer does an absolutely superb job of just giving you enough of a feeling, of an idea of what this could be like. So I'm going to think about it. I'm going to have a good think on my way back home of how I can describe this without any spoilers, because I don't want to give anything away. It's trying to break out of the mold that it's created for itself, obviously because of the first one. And I think that it does it very successfully. For me, it does it really well. Now, is it scary? So let's go through, is it scary? But before we do that, let's get on the road, because we can do this on our way home. I think that's what we can do. We can do this on our way home. So let's get out of this car park, right? Let's get out of here. All right, here we go. The space to get out of here is like... That's what this noise is. These sensors and everything. We are done. Oh my God. There has been a disaster. Okay, I think we're all right now. I think we're okay. Okay then, so... Smile 2. Okay, firstly, I loved it, right? I love this. This has got an art house vibe to it. which I actually wasn't expecting at all. And what I mean by that is, it's just weird enough to not be, like, conventional, you know? At the same time, it is conventional, which is clever. It's a smart film, and it's also a scary film. I mean, it's scary. I mean, I looked away a couple of times, and it made me jump like 3 times, 3 massive jump scares, which I wasn't expecting. And you know, I know that that's the whole point of a jump scare, but let me just be honest, it made me jump, even though I was waiting for it. You know, really, really good, really clever timing, really, really awesome. It's a really good sequel, and that is quite an impressive feat. If I'm going to criticize it, I'm going to say that I don't really think the beginning of this film sort of matches the rest of it. And I think that's the only criticism I've got of this. And that's fine, because when the beginning's over, then, you know, it's over and the rest of the film happens. That's probably all I'm going to give this in terms of criticism, because I actually enjoyed this a lot. I thought it had a lot going for it. And if we forget the fact that it's a sequel for a second, if this wasn't a sequel and it was just, you know, was what it was, then I would have loved it just the same, to be honest. I thought this was a really entertaining piece of work. I really liked it. And yeah, like I say, I think just that one criticism about the beginning of this is probably all I'm going to go for. It does have a very interesting story in itself, and that's what I was talking about before, about that dual. It's a dual layer movie. I have to be honest, I wasn't expecting that. In fact, to go one further, I'm not really sure what I was expecting, to be fair. Because if you think about the concept of Smile, again, the first one, and you think about what a great idea it is, and what an absolutely fantastic horror movie it is. It's one of this century's best horror films. I mean, obviously, you know, there's a lot of the century left to come, but, you know, so far, I think Smile is probably one of the best. But Smile 2 takes it one step further. I suppose they could have gone one of 2 ways with it. They could have gone, like, you know, big, massive story, you know, gone global, let's say, gone loco, whatever you want to call it. They could have done that. But instead, they kind of went the other way. They took it, they stripped it all down and just made it about this one person, about this one character, in fact. For me, that works really well. It's got a psychological element to it. That's not what I was expecting. And that's kind of sideswiped me a little bit in terms of reviewing this. No spoilers, right? This is my pledge to you now. No spoilers. As always, going to see something like this on the big screen with other people, right? And when I say with other people, I mean with a crowd of people in a busy cinema. That's where this really wins, because you get to hear everyone's reaction. You know, some people gasp, some people jump, some people are like laugh. You know, there's so many different reactions that people have when something makes them scared. There are a great many moments in this that do that. There are also some bits in this which are genuinely creepy. I mean, really creepy. There's a moment when she's in her apartment, and, well, again, no spoilers. The moment when she's in her apartment on her own, and, you know, things are starting to go south, let's say. And I just thought that bit was fantastic, because it was genuinely creepy, and it made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up, because it was like, oh, because if it did happen to you, then you know, you'd freak out, totally freak out. So there are some really, really good elements of that in this. It mixes it really well, the horror elements and the psychological elements. It's creepy. I mean, yes, on the creepy factor, it wins. On the Halloween factor, I mean, I haven't seen Terrifier 3 yet. I have not seen it yet, and I can imagine that, and, you know, watch my review of that to see what I think. I'm assuming Terrifier 3 is just going to be exactly what you'd expect it to be, which is a completely insane blood festival, right? And maybe that's what it's going to be. Could be wrong, of course. Watch my review to see. Smile 2 is a deeper, more psychological, more affecting horror film than that. So let's talk a little bit about who's in it. And I need to find out who's who because I've forgotten. As always. Okay, so Naomi Scott. So let's talk about the characters. So Naomi Scott, who we've seen in previous films, she was in Aladdin, the live-action version, and she was also in the remake of Charlie's Angels, which wasn't that great, to be honest. Not anyone's finest hour. But in this, she's great. So Naomi Scott plays Sky Riley, who is a sort of, well, she's a very successful pop star who's had a couple of bad moments, let's say. You know, and I think she's in pretty much every single frame of this film. And I'm glad she is, because as a character and as an actor, she's done some great work. It is really good. There are not that many other characters in this, to be honest. It does focus almost solely on her and her character. But we do have Rosemary DeWitt, who plays Sky's mum and sort of manager as well. And there's a really good dynamic there between those two as well. The mum is that sort of driving force behind Sky, sort of pop star character. And that works really well because, you know, she just wants Riley to go and, you know, perform and do the pop star thing and, you know, make the money, essentially, making it go onto these talk shows and making her do all of this kind of, you know, this regular pop star stuff. But you can see all of the time that Sky's sort of her mental health is suffering, essentially, because of what happened. And she's sort of not really ready to go back out on stage and to go back out there and face not only the audiences, but all of the other stuff that goes with being, you know, a global pop star. So another character in this is played by Dylan Galula, and she plays Gemma, who is sort of Sky's best friend, but estranged best friend at this point. For those of you who are fans of House, of which I am one, then we get to see Peter Jacobson. He makes an appearance in this, and again, he is in the trailer, so this is not a spoiler either. You know, he sort of plays a nurse, which I kind of liked, because it's like, well, okay, so he's a doctor in House, and here he is again as a nurse. But apart from that, there are not that many characters in this. Again, like I say, it really does all hold itself together, and it really does focus just on Sky Riley. Like I said, so the beginning is a little bit detached from the rest of the film, but that's mainly because I believe it follows on a week after the main character in the first film's. You know what? Let's not give away spoilers here. I'll still say that the beginning of this is detached from the main story itself. I guess what it's trying to do is it's trying to sort of follow on from the first film. But like I say, I don't really think it needs that. I reckon, as an addition to this Halloween season of movies, this is probably a must-see. Someone's screaming on the street. Yeah, this is a must-see, right? Let me get back to you on where this ranks in the grand scheme of things after Halloween, or, you know, once Halloween is there, because a scary movie is for life, not just for Halloween. So, you know, this is going to exist after Halloween. I do recommend this. I think it's worth going to see. I do. Take your friends. Take the skeptics. Take the ones who don't really like horror films as well. It's rated 18, by the way. I think it's rated 18 because it is a little bit gory. So it does have some gore in it that is very satisfying if you like gore. It's got a good story and it's got a good central character. It really works because of that. And the direction is interesting. It's well directed. The cinematography is gorgeous. I think the use of darkness and the use of light as well is quite something I noticed. Like, you know, it doesn't cake itself in utter darkness like some films do, where you kind of can't see what's going on. It does give you a great view of everything. The sound mix is also really good as well. If you go and see this in a cinema with a really good sound system, then some moments, you know, there's some moments that happen in it will happen above your head, and it's like, oh my god, you know, the sound will come from there, and it works really well in terms of, you know, what it's showing us and what you can hear and where you can hear it. I do recommend this. I think you should go and see it. I think it's worth it. I think it's a great addition to the Halloween season. Maybe it's going to be the best horror movie of the year. I don't know. I mean, maybe it is. Is there anything more to come? Let's see how that goes. But from where I am right now, I wholeheartedly recommend this. Smile 2 is available everywhere, in all good cinemas. It's worth going to see. I enjoyed it a lot, and I think you will too, particularly if you enjoyed the first one. So Smile 2, everybody. Go see it, go enjoy it. Happy Halloween.